What's going on, YouTube? It's your host Omari back with another episode of the Student Athlete Show. And a couple of days ago, this was going to be a much more optimistic video on my Lakers fan wish list for the 2023 season. Only a few months away from basketball coming back, and I was really excited. And then the Lakers went ahead and did what they do, and they traded my boy THT for Patrick Beverley. So that's going to change the whole vibe of this video. So I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on that trade since it just went down, and then I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all the wish list on what I would not expect to see from the Lakers this next season, but what I wish to see from the Lakers this season, which recently has been two totally different things. So let's get right into it. Patrick Beverley traded for THT to the Lakers. Now, I'm a huge THT fan. Watched him play multiple times in high school in Chicago. Really versatile guy, brings a lot of energy, but as a fan of his, I can definitely say that the Lakers did not need THT. So I'm glad for him that he's going to Utah, probably someplace where he can get a lot more shine and really develop his game. With that being said, Patrick Beverley. Just continuing the trend of the last couple of years of the Lakers just consistently just getting older and older. Patrick Beverley's not the oldest guy in the world, but definitely over his prime, past his prime, definitely over the hill. Known for being a great perimeter defender, but that's one of those things that fades very quickly as you get older. Patrick Beverley is definitely not the guy that he used to be on the defensive end. And now he's more just like a veteran energy guy, which we already have one of those. We have a few of those. He does help the Lakers on the defensive end. The Lakers had fallen off on defense since winning the ring in the bubble. But on the offensive end, Patrick Beverley still is not going to give us a whole lot. But the biggest reason I'm afraid of this trade is that Patrick Beverley and Russell Westbrook in the same locker room sounds like a nightmare just waiting to happen. Their beef is well documented, going back like almost a decade now at this point. Patrick Beverley, long time ago, back in like 2013, I think it was, took a dive on the floor for a loose ball, rolls up under Russell Westbrook, hurt Russell Westbrook's knee, and honestly, probably taken some years off of Russ's athleticism. He's had like quite a few injuries since then, but those guys have been beefing like openly in the media ever since then. Like every year it seems. It was only last year before last, when Russell Westbrook came out saying like Patrick Beverley's just fooling everybody, just running around, and then Patrick Beverley has some things to say back to him. So that's going to be really weird in the locker room. I don't think the Lakers needed any extra drama in the locker room. So as a fan, I'm kind of shaking in my boots with that trade, to be honest. Some positives coming out of that trade. I do think that this might be an extra push to get Russell Westbrook out the door. Not that he's, super determined to stay in LA, but some beef in the locker room between those two guys might, I don't know, somehow be able to shimmy Russ out the back door. Or maybe it's something that they're doing to bring in and maybe light a fire under Russell Westbrook. A lot of times when your biggest critic is, watching you, that's when people can perform at their best. So maybe that'll get a little bit extra out of Russell Westbrook. I don't really know how it's going to go, but it doesn't have me feeling that great for the rest of the offseason. So first thing on the wish list I have for the Lakers, this one didn't age well from when I first wrote it down in my notes, but I just want the Lakers to do things that make sense. Last offseason, you could tell that the Lakers were really just grasping for straws, throwing things at the wall and just seeing what stuck, and kind of just panicking in the offseason. And instead of making smart moves as far as like play style and like money moves, the Lakers were kind of just shuffling as much as they could. Couldn't really get like super talented players that like fed into the system of what they were trying to do. So a lot of times they were just kind of grabbing old veterans with a name, like no shade, but Melo. Uh, Melo did better than I expected him to do last year for the Lakers, but at the same time, made the Lakers older. Ooh, cat. Made the Lakers older and didn't, improve us on the defensive end of the ball. Didn't seem like they were going for winning last year as much as really just like selling tickets and getting people interested. So this year I want to see the Lakers get some shooters. I hear that now that they're not going after Kyrie anymore, which we wasted, like month, 2 months on that. Now they're going after Buddy Hield. Should have got Buddy Hield last year instead of getting Russell Westbrook, but hey, maybe it won't be too late. I would love to see the Lakers acquire Buddy Hield and some other shooters as well. Um, Shooting is going to be a huge problem for the Lakers this season, maybe even more than last season, if they can't like rummage something up at the end of free agency. After that, I have wear it. Wear it is kind of a baseball term. In baseball, you get hit by a pitch. They tell people I basically like don't whine about it, but to wear it. So I need the Lakers to not make somebody the scapegoat this season. Every year, last year it was Russell Westbrook. The Lakers front office needs to take accountability with the direction of the franchise and how things are going on and off the court. Everything is a result of the decisions and the moves that they make in the front office. And that starts by putting a good team together, putting the right coaches on the bench to help guide those guys. And like I said, just doing things that make sense beforehand. I'm not expecting a ring this season, to be honest. I would love to see it. If they made the right moves, I think a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis at this point in their careers, if AD can show a little bit improvement over the last 2 seasons, I do think that, that team is going to be a championship contender as long as everyone's healthy. And they put, at least a few good pieces around those guys. Is my expectation for them to win a ring this year? No. But I do think that the Lakers can be very respectable this year. And whatever the outcome is, I just need the front office to roll with it. You know what I mean? I need them to own up for however this season turns out. So number 3 on the list, I have stop selling the future. The Lakers, mostly from the Anthony Davis trade, mortgaged a huge portion of the future on trying to win that ring in 2020 and any rings that we might try to be winning in the next couple of years. And won the ring in 2020, so I'm not that mad about it. But I do need the Lakers to realize that LeBron James only has a couple years left, most likely. Anthony Davis's body is falling apart every year. And this era right here is probably closer to coming to a close than it is coming into more success. And right now, the Lakers don't have a first round pick that they just outright own until 2026. Got a couple of second round picks, but I need those first round picks to get closer, not further away. So, whatever moves the Lakers are making this season, I would love for them to try to use the few assets that we do have to try to make some moves and maybe not keep getting rid of like the future first round picks because after LeBron is done and AD, goes someplace else or like finishes out his time in LA, I do see a rebuilding period coming soon for the Lakers. Number 4 on my list, I have get some shooters. Like I said earlier, this roster right now is looking like it might be even scarier than it was last season. As far as 3-point shooting goes, let me pull up the roster. You got Russell Westbrook. We already know about him. One of the least touted shooters in the league, maybe ever. We got LeBron. LeBron, not the best shooting period of his career. Far from the worst shooter in the league. LeBron's going to knock down some threes. He's going to score the basketball. Not worried about him. But is he a sniper? No. Anthony Davis. I would really love to see Anthony Davis figure out his shot because 2020 AD was almost like a shooting guard. He was shooting, I believe, like anywhere between like 38% from 3 that season. And he's just taken a massive fall off every season since then. So we'd love to see AD figure out his shot. I know earlier in the offseason, he was saying that he hadn't picked up a basketball in like months. I don't know what that's about. He's a professional. He knows more about playing basketball than I do. But we need to see some results from it. Patrick Beverley, non-shooter. Lonnie Walker, non-shooter. Kendrick Nunn, Stanley Johnson, Damian Jones, William Gabriel, Juan Toscano Anderson, Austin Reeves. None of these guys are shooting over like 33% from three. So I don't know who the guy is that's going to be the reliable over in the corner. I don't know who LeBron is going to be kicking it out to this season. And I think if they don't figure that part of the roster out, it is going to be another season kind of like last season where LeBron is really just going out there scoring 30 a night and really just taking it all on his shoulders. I don't think that's going to be a winning formula for the Lakers. I do think that LeBron at his highest output is not going to be great for success because LeBron is getting old. Going over the whole 82 game season, like that's going to wear at him, and we're not going to be able to get LeBron at his best when it gets to the playoffs. In previous years, where we've seen LeBron be at his best, when we've seen him go to the finals, win rings, he's been able to kind of play the regular season like almost like at 85%, it feels like, and then he can really ramp it up when he gets to the playoffs and make that deep run. Also, it's just 2022. Like, shooting three pointers is where it's at in the NBA right now. I mean, success is completely dependent right now in the league on 3 point success. You aren't seeing anyone win lots of games without competent 3 point shooting. So that's just going to be something that's going to be a natural backbone for the team. Probably my biggest wish on the list that I have at number 5 is let's win 50 games. It sounds really ridiculous after not making the playoffs last season, but last season was probably as much of a dumpster fire as a season could get. LeBron was getting hurt. Anthony Davis was getting hurt. Most reliable guy on the team was probably Russell Westbrook, which says a ton. We'll love to see the Lakers get him out of there, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But 50 games. I think 50 games is mostly going to come out of Anthony Davis being healthy, LeBron James being healthy, and good decision making and no drama. Good decision making will lead me into my next one. At number 6, I would love to see LeBron average 8 assists a game this season. Last year he was down around like 6. The year before that he was at 7.8. And then before that he was making 8 assists a game a season for like at least 4 or 5 seasons in a row. We were getting like peak LeBron since he left Miami. And while LeBron can be a dynamic scorer and really take over the game, like I said, he's getting old. He doesn't want to put that much pressure on his body. And when he's out there facilitating, nobody's going to make decisions on the court as well as LeBron does. So we'll love to see the ball in his hands, but they need reliable people for him to kick it out to, pass the ball to. Or instead of 8 assists, Bron, I would also love to see the Lakers maybe swap Russell Westbrook for a quality seasoned ball handler. Not Patrick Beverley. I did write this one before they made the Patrick Beverley trade, so I'm going to need them to make one more move maybe, or get some guys around LeBron so he can do more facilitating and not putting the whole team on his shoulder. After that, I got number 7. I need Anthony Davis to step up / 25-point AD. Last couple of seasons, Anthony Davis has been around 21, 22 points a game, and that's been for a multitude of reasons. I almost said for this point that I wanted 70 games from Anthony Davis, but I truly believe that those two things might go hand in hand. I do think that a healthier Anthony Davis might have more confidence, more certainty in himself, and just better decision making. Because I do think at a certain point, all the injuries to Anthony Davis have to get into his head. He has to be out there on the court thinking about, oh man, like if I go up for this dunk, like am I going to come down right? And he has to be out there second guessing himself. So I think if he can get into a groove and really be rolling through the season, feeling good, feeling healthy, I do think he might be able to get back to that productive dominance that we were seeing in 2020. And in 2020, Anthony Davis really caught lightning in a bottle. It was the first time that he was playing with a player of LeBron's caliber, and we really just got to see what max AD might look like. His 3 point percentage needs to get back up. And a part of me does worry that with all the lower body injuries, that Anthony Davis might just not have the legs anymore to hit those long range shots. So I think only time will tell. And we'll really only be able to know if we do get a healthy Anthony Davis. If he is injured when he is on the court, we aren't really going to know what we're looking at. And apart from the injuries, apart from the shooting, like I really do want to see Anthony Davis be dominant when he is on the court. I don't want to see him be reckless, but I do want to see him go out there and not let the game come to him. I want to see him go out there and get his buckets, you know? And my favorite point on my wish list, if the Lakers don't do any of these other things, this is the one thing that I need them to do. I need them to get Russ out of there. Last year, Russell Westbrook to the Lakers, honestly, my least favorite move from maybe any team ever. Russell Westbrook and LeBron James on the same team, same court, never made sense. Just two heliocentric guys that just don't mesh well. LeBron James has never been the best off-ball guy on offense. Russell Westbrook is probably the worst off-ball guy on offense. No motion off-ball. Can't sit him over in the corner because he's not really going to knock down threes. And with a few injuries over his years, Russell Westbrook just is not the athletic monster that he was a few years ago. And that was his biggest appeal. So on top of that, just him as a ball handler, it's weird to see like a guy like him who's a veteran at this point, been in the league at least like 10, 12 years, I believe. And just his decision making has never gotten any better, turning the ball over at a ridiculous rate. And you can just see that Russell Westbrook is starting to lose the confidence that he has on the court as well. And his decision making just seems to go down and down as the season goes on. I've been saying for years that I don't think Russell Westbrook is a player that's capable of winning a ring. Mostly because I don't see him settling back into a role that will be productive enough to put him in the proper situation and utilize his skills well in a way that results in winning rings. And don't have anything against Russell Westbrook. I think he's a great competitor. He's definitely good for the league. I just don't think he's good for the Lakers. Don't think he's good for a high volume winning. So that's my Lakers wish list. We can come back at the end of the season and see how they're doing on these things. And like I said, I'm just really excited for this upcoming season. As a Lakers fan, am I the most chipper heading into the season? No. But, I get to watch LeBron James play hopefully a full season of basketball for my team. So I can't be too mad about it. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Student Athlete Show. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to get more of this boosted into your daily YouTube feed. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.